Welcome everybody to today's presentation of Cancer Opportunities by Jannie Douma Rispens. And with us today, it's actually the author. And welcome, Jannie.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We're very excited to this presentation. This is, and I will allow Jannie to talk about the book. She's the author, but I like just to start saying that we're very excited about all the possibilities that are coming forward from her work and her writing. There's so much we're going to be talking about today. There are many possibilities and opportunities, and I'd like to welcome you all to this presentation. It's going to last approximately 50 to 60 minutes. And the only rule here is that you're most welcome to interrupt at any time and ask your questions. If you'd like to make a comment, ask a question, share a story, we're here for you as well. So Jannie, welcome again.
Yes, welcome. And also welcome, Alan.
My first question to you as the author is, if there was just one... Oh, I'm sorry, my connection was breaking. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so my first question to you is, if people would only listen to you for 5 minutes, if you only had 5 minutes to tell someone something about the book, what is like one main idea that you would like them to take away from all of this? Just one.
Well, I think that's the definition of healing I put in front of the book. And I can read it out loud. That health is the ability of people to deal with physical, emotional, social, and spiritual life challenges while exercising as much self-direction as possible. And I think you don't need a cancer diagnosis to work on yourself. And when you have a cancer diagnosis, most people work on their physical health, but it's also very important to work on your emotional, social, and spiritual health. And then you really start your healing journey. You become healed, you become whole, you become holy.
This is a new perspective for people to think about their health. Sometimes people only focus on the physical, and there's so much that is possible when you also focus on these other areas you propose. Would you like to tell us a bit about that?
Well, I think the focus is, for most of the people, is only on the physical health. But and they find a cancer diagnosis quite threatening. And when you are stuck in the fear, you won't develop. And I think it's important that you have less fear, and you can use breathing exercises, you can use logosynthesis, and then you come in the field of possibilities and opportunities. And then any crisis in your life, it can be a cancer diagnosis, but it can also be a divorce, or it can be losing your work. Every crisis can become a start of your healing journey. And I think that everyone in life has to walk their own healing journey.
Well, to be honest, the first time in my life that I ever heard the word cancer associated with the word opportunities was when I found your book. That's an unusual combination.
Yes.
Why that choice? It's unique.
Well, in the Chinese language, you have two characters of crisis. The first word is why, it's the dangerous part of it, but the second word is opportunity. And in the crisis, they always come together. So there's always a threat, but there's also an opportunity. And I think in our world, we focus on the threatening part of cancer, and we forget the opportunities that are laying also in a cancer diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I wanted to be that you have to think about it. The English website is called canceropportunities.health. And I really like cancer and health in the same web address.
Yeah, true. I was just thinking about that. Perhaps it's safe to say that everyone who has listened to this has ever, at least once, experienced a crisis in life for one reason or another. And I find that your book can be very valuable for people going through precisely that, a crisis. What would you tell someone going through a crisis now to help them based on your book?
Well, I would invite Gusta to say something about it, because she was the first one who said to me, this is not the book only for cancer patients. So I would like to invite Gusta to answer the question.
Gusta, what you're thinking about is?
Well, when I read it, it was yeah, for me obvious that it would be very precious for all kinds of crises. And I have no cancer diagnosis, so I was reading the book, but for me it would be also be very helpful to develop and other people in my practice. So everywhere where you read cancer, you could fill in something else, what you just said, like a divorce or a chronic illness, or name it. Like now I have clients with long COVID. Well, you can, yeah, you can put a lot of people in the same routine, and everything you write in the book. Well, maybe not specific a diet for cancer, of course, but you can find out what would be a good diet if you have something else. So most of the information is also good for other people. And yes, your spiritual and your emotional journey is also something you have to cope with if you have another crisis. So yeah, I think it's good for everybody to read it.
Yes,
Thank
and
you,
it was
Gusta.
the first time Gusta told me the way she thinks about a book, and I realized that it's not only for cancer patients. I think for everyone who is living their path on earth, they have their challenges, and it's very important to keep as much self-direction as is possible. And that's not only when you have a cancer diagnosis, but also if you have other crises. It's very important that you can feel what you feel, that you can make the right decisions, that you listen to your intuition, that you there's so much you can do yourself to work on your inner healing. And it's not only the physical layer in the book.
You touched, Jenny, an important part of the journey when you mentioned self-direction. And I recall we were once having a conversation where you were sharing that self-direction, autonomy, and taking control or recovering control over one's life is important to move forward and to continue, to develop hope and to continue living. How was that for you when you were going through this? Because like you share in the book, you were first a patient and then the book came along.
I don't know if I was a patient. There were cancer cells found in my body, but I didn't feel like a patient. I was feeling really healthy, and I thought, okay, this is something that is found in my body and it has to go away, but but as a whole, and I think that's I started my healing journey long before the cancer diagnosis, and I think that really helped me. When I heard I had a cancer diagnosis, I had no fear at all. There was one feeling that said, Jannie, it's going to be all good. And I started writing right at the beginning. And I'm very glad I did that, because there are things I just finished the English translation. And when I read something, some parts of my diary, I really was forgotten it. So I was really thankful that I was started with writing right at the beginning, because there are things in it I couldn't tell now anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there was a really strong feeling that I would capture this, that this was not my end. And there's a man who I interviewed for our Stories of Power. We have Alan has created a YouTube channel. He's really worthwhile to me in this journey. And he created a YouTube channel, and one of the sections is Stories of Power. And yesterday morning, I had a recording with a man, and he said, you have to stay with your first feeling. My first feeling was, it's going to be all right. And the doctor said, it's not going to be all right. It's bad, we have. And he said, and I just wanted to believe that it was right, and that the doctor was not thinking in possibilities. It really hurt him at that time. And he says you have to go with your first feeling, and I think that's a good idea. My first feeling was good.
Mm-hmm. You started talking about the stories of power and the stories that we are offering through the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. What will this be about, the stories of power?
Stories of Power are little stories in Dutch and English, and they are from people who have had their own journey with cancer, and they look back and they tell the listeners what had helped them during their healing journey. And yesterday morning, I interviewed a really nice woman called Coral, and she told me that her friends were crying around her, and she said, that doesn't help me. It doesn't help me at all. Can we just visualize all the friends and her together? Can we just visualize that we are dancing 1 year from now, that we are dancing together? And they all visualized, all the friends visualized that they were dancing together. And that really helped her, because we need people opportune around us to give us positive energy. And now people are, they have crying people around them, they have sad people around them, they have worrying people around them. And it's not on purpose, but loved ones don't realize that they burden the one with a cancer diagnosis with their emotions. And that's why I have also a section in the book for loved ones, because they feel powerless. They don't know what to do. So I have a lot of tips for them, what they can do to support the healing journey from the other person.
So it's both parties have to do their own work. The person
Yes.
going on the journey and the loved ones.
In fact, they have to do their homework both. And because when you hear the word cancer, it has only 6 letters. But a lot of people have alarm bells going off when they hear the word cancer. And there are a lot of memories with unprocessed things that happened in their lives. And before you know it, I really saw it before my eyes, that people who had a bad memory, that they put their memory on your future. And that's really not helping the one who's in the healing process.
So what I'm taking from this is that a good place to start may be processing the word cancer itself and all its associations.
Definitely, definitely, because there's a lot of energy frozen in just in the word cancer, and it can be fantasies about the future. It can be memories that are not processed. A lot of cancer is only built up from 6 letters, but it's a world of emotions, of social, physical challenges that also wake up when they hear the word. And some people don't even want to pronounce the word. They say, we have the disease, or we have C. And the word cancer is giving an energy of fear in the whole network.
So I don't know if you have thought about this, but I suppose that for you, the definition of all cancer has evolved over time then, from the beginning of the journey until this moment. So what is cancer for you now?
In the stories of power, every man and woman I have interviewed, they have another definition about cancer. And that's the definition that you become more whole because of the process, and you make new decisions because of the process, and you stop working because you want to start your own business. It's really a course of life itself, to become more aware and to grow in who you are and to really connect with your essence. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And it's wrapped up in the gift called cancer. And it's hidden in wrapping paper. And a lot of people don't unpack the wrapping paper, so they don't find the opportunities this also lays in a cancer diagnosis. But it really can be a gift of life to connect with yourself, and to do what you really like.
And now that we're talking about the process, I'm more curious about it. I recall we were once having a conversation, one of the many, and you said something around the lines of the physical treatment may have stopped, but there's a whole journey that opens up. There's a new door that opens up for healing after, to process it.
As a psychosocial therapist, I note that from the diagnosis moment is a very important moment. That's where energy is blocked. Then you have the whole physical thing with the physical treatments. But when they stop, the treatment stop, there's also a moment where people feel lost, because when you are in the healing process, you have a lot of appointments in the hospital for chemo, for everything else. It can be every journey is another journey. But when you have overcome all the treatments, you have to process the emotional things during the journey, because in the journey you're mostly busy with the physical things.
And I was just going through the book right now, and I see that that's a lot of content related to what you're sharing in part 3 with cases, and we talk about diagnosis, operation, radiation, chemotherapy, fatigue, control, change in appearance, saying goodbye, moving on, back to work. It seems that there are a lot of specific moments to process in the journey for the
Yes, a
person
lot
to.
of people don't realize it because I recorded demos with people who have had their healing journey 3-4 years ago, and they think they can live. They processed it, the diagnosis moment. But when we talk about it, there's always energy bound in that moment, that diagnosis moment. And a lot of people I talk to, they just tell, but when I ask my questions, then there's a whole different layer underneath the healing journey, which has to be processed.
Okay. And we're just talking about this week about how this book is opening the door to open a whole movement that goes where the book is a central resource for people to join in, where health is healing. What do you see in the future for us as a community, as a movement?
Oh, well, I in my own future, I hope I can give the basic course of photosynthesis to oncology nurses, so that they can really help to adjust fear down just after the diagnosis. And I really hope that, and I think that a lot of people I spoke to, not only in the Netherlands, but also in the UK and in America, that a lot of people are aware that cancer can be an opportunity. And I hope that together we can, just on the place where you live, with people around you, that we can change the vibration of the word cancer.
Thank you.
Because when there's less fear, there's more healing. And if people know that they can adjust their fear right from the beginning of the healing journey, the healing journey will be different.
Yes, we can reduce it, right? And it can be so simple with the tools you're offering in the book. And I'm curious now.
And you really want to share it, because how beautiful it would be if when people receive a cancer diagnosis, that they don't go to fear, but that they can see the opportunities. It would really make our world a little bit more beautiful. And there are 8 million people every year around the globe that hear that they have found cancer cells in their bodies. So it's a big group, and I think the group will only be bigger and bigger. So it's very important that we change the energy around the word cancer.
Thank you. And I'm curious now about if our audience, or what questions or comments our audience has. And we're joined today by this beautiful crowd coming from different parts of the world, of North America, Europe, South America. I'm the South American one, as you can listen from my accent. I'm the Peruvian one. And I'd like to hear from you guys. So if you have any questions or any comments, this is the best time for you to go ahead.
What advice do you have, Jannie, for people around somebody who has received this diagnosis of cancer? I understood what you said earlier, don't project your fears onto the patient. Is there something they can do to positively support the healing process of
Yes.
the
Yes.
person involved?
Yes, they can positive involve because you can look at your lifestyle. And when I heard that there was cancer in my body, I stopped walking. I started walking, and I walked every day, and I walked a lot. And you can offer to say tomorrow we're going for a walk, because if your health is better, I was operated the day before Christmas. And 10 days later, I walked 10 kilometers. And you can also help with the food. If you do the groceries for someone who has a cancer diagnosis, you can help them find recipes for more healthy food. And in my book, you can, I say brown food isn't good. It's cola, it's fried food. And you have to eat food of all different colors to be healthy. But it can also be that you want to change your words and your thoughts. And as a partner, you can help to replace every anxious thought with a hopeful thought. And you can help choose, because when they choose their thoughts, they choose when they change their thoughts, they change their lives. If you have all what came clear to me during the process is that you can pray 2 times a day that you want to be healthy again. But if you think 100 times a day, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, what will the universe listen to? So becoming more aware of your words, becoming more aware of your thoughts is also important for getting whole again. And you can help them by, I have made some wall circles. This is the Dutch one, but they are also in English. And this is translated, you can, if you change your thoughts, you change your life. And this can be as a remembering in your room that you can choose your own thoughts. So you can make a playlist of nice songs for during the chemotherapy. And there are a lot of things you can do, but a lot of people are confronted with their own you realize that this life will end someday. And when all the people around you are also aware of the ending of life. And I interviewed a man in the book from Groningen, and he said, I had a friend and we never talked about cancer. And I heard him when he was coming in the hospital, and he was coming in her room, and they just had humor. They just make the big laughs, nice jokes, and they never talked about cancer. But that was the hour when he really regained his energy back. So you can do a lot.
Thank you.
Yes. Can I ask something about that? Because you are a very conscious person, and I mean, you can handle it. I mean, if you were my partner, you would do all that. But for example, my partner would freak out if I had cancer, and he would read it, but he would really have difficulties with his ideas of you. would you then suggest what would you just suggest to him, because he's just in fight and freeze and
Yes.
fight flight. He's
Yes.
just anxious.
It's something Alan already said. We all have to do our homework with the word cancer. And maybe your partner has fantasies about the future. And you can lower the distress of beliefs and fantasies with logosynthesis. So it could be very important for you if there was less fear with your partner, so you could stay with your own process. But I think that the thing you are focusing on is very important for a lot of people. And I myself had my cancer diagnosed during COVID, and I loved it because the government said you can't go visit, and so I had no people crying around my kitchen table, and that was very nice for my own process. But I think we all have to do our homework with the fears and the confrontations from the word cancer.
But what would you do practically? What would you say to him? Would you say, well, you go? I mean, I can say,
I would say to you to stay with your own feeling, and I would help you to make a difference if that energy belongs to you or it is from your partner. So you could stay on your healing journey. And well, he can be afraid, or he can work on it. And I think when you have a partner who's very afraid, you have to find some other people who can support you during the process, because sometimes a partner can support you during the process.
I will send it to you.
Yes, and a lot of partners, they don't do it on purpose, but they still burden you with their fear. And it's very good that you realize that it's not your fear, that you have to stay with your energy. But it's difficult when a lot of people around you are feeling fear and sadness and grief.
And that brings up this moment to talk about the importance of working with someone. Like doing the homework means sometimes, you can self-coach and self-support, and there are things we can manage by ourselves when we have the tools for it. And sometimes it's life saying it's time to knock on the door of somebody to guide you in the process. So there's also a limit as to how much we can do by ourselves, and when it's time to ask for help to someone.
Yes,
and go ahead.
Maybe this is also an opportunity to tell something about a course we made together, Alan, because we made a course and it's called Reclaim Your Power. And maybe you could tell something more about it.
Ooh, where to start? Well, one of the beautiful things that have come out of this collaboration together is, creating a whole curriculum for people who are in the journey of embracing the idea that health is healing. That basic idea comes from Jannie's book, Health is Healing. And I will repeat it once and again because it's so powerful. Health is healing. When you heal inside, when you heal, when you release all the blocks and the energy that is frozen, then you give your body the chance to heal, because of all the fantasies and things we think of, or the memories we have associated with cancer, or the things we think about cancer. All the things may stress us, and the problem with stress is that it increases our cortisol levels and depresses our immune system. And when we are in the journey of cancer, we need our immune system to be at its best, really high. And so the class that Jannie's talking about is precisely about that, how you can learn to release those blocks, boost your energy system, your immune system, by doing the work, by working inside, by releasing all those fantasies and memories and beliefs. And there's one tool we work with, which Jannie has just talked about, and it's logosynthesis. And many of you in the audience know what that means, but there are many who are new to, the book and what it offers, and of course to logosynthesis. And for that, perhaps Jannie, you would like to talk about that before I continue talking about the class, because it's based on it.
Yes, logosynthesis is part of energy psychology. And it says everything is energy. Also, the 6 letters of cancer is energy. And Willem Lammers has made this beautiful method. And you can adjust fear with only 3 sentences. And it's not the sentences that work. That's the final part of it. You have to research for yourself. What's bothering me? What's really the cause of what's bothering me? And then you say 3 sentences that shift energy. And a lot of people don't believe that it is so easy. The demonstration of yesterday, it was the words of the doctor that it's looking really bad, it's serious. It was a 10. The distress was 10 on a scale of from 1 to 10. And we did 3 sentences, and he said, the first thing that comes up is a 5, but I don't believe it. That's how easy and smoothly this method works. It's really gently and soft. And he could feel it in his body that it became rest, more deeper breathing. And it's such an easy way to get lost of the fear that you want to share it with everyone, because during this process, this healing process, healing path after cancer diagnosis, there's always almost always a lot of fear. And when not only the one who get a diagnosis has less fear, but also the ones surround them, then there can be a whole healing energy in the room, in the space, in the family. So logosynthesis is a great method for personal development and growth and healing.
And to build on what you just said, the class you talked about, recovering your power in the path of healing, is precisely about that. It's about releasing those blockages, boosting the immune system. And how we do that is we help people focus on, overcoming the shock of the cancer diagnosis, and also releasing the fears associated with it, so they can start to look ahead through the process and, regain that self-direction that Jannie talked about, that control over their life, their power, to flow through it and to, thrive in it. Why not? Thrive, it's a good word for this, to blossom, like our healing garden.
It's very important to have a future, because some people think they have no future after they have been diagnosed with cancer. And when you think you have no future, your cells listen to your thoughts. So your cells also think there is no future. And so it's very important to make, at the beginning of the journey, visualization, where you want to go to make visualization of the future you want to go to. And you have more power during the healing process if you do that in front of all treatments.
Mm-hmm. Husa, you're muted. I think you want to say something.
Yes, I think it's also what happened in World War II, that it was not the strong people with a lot of muscles and a lot of good genes who survived this World War, but it was also the people who had a mindset with a future. I think it was in Viktor Frankl's, I'm not really sure, but it was not about muscles and genes and everything. It was not about diet, but more about...
It's about will. It's about the will that you want to be present in that future. And I think a lot of people think that life stops with cancer, and that's a belief. And you can also, Alan, help me with my English. You can also
Decrease, reduce,
increase the belief. And you may believe that cancer, that you will die on cancer, but if you believe it for 95%, every cell of your body believes it will die on cancer. But if you have a future, I spoke to a woman and she had cancer here in her face, and the doctor said you have 35% of people with this kind of cancer will survive, and there are also 65% of people who will die on your diagnosis. And her son said to her mom, which part are you in? And she said, and really confirm, I am one of the 35%. And that's why that's just a moment when she made her path through the future. I'm going to be one of the 35%. I had an interview yesterday and there was only 20%. The doctor said you have only 20% to survive. And she said, I made the decision to be one of the 20%. So the mind is so important in this process. And it's not only the physical, but also the emotional layer, which is very important for the healing journey.
Mm-hmm. Through my own experience with fear, I can now realize that when I was in crisis, it was very hard for me to, express myself with the confidence that you are expressing right now, because you're declaring with confidence, this is going to be this way. And at the same time, I now know that when we process that fear using logosynthesis and the tools you offer, the fear just vanishes. I mean, it is reduced, like you say, and confidence just pops up, it just increases naturally without having to do anything about it. It just emerges. And I think that's a message of hope for people who are reading the book and listening to this presentation, that they can know that fear can be reduced dramatically, that it is possible, and that will increase your confidence to go through this journey. And they can learn how to do it with a book.
Yes, when you are here, you have a cancer diagnosis. There's a lot of cortisol in the body, which stops your healing process. Please help me with the issue. What were you talking about?
I was saying that one of the benefits of this book is that you can learn in the book how to reduce, the stress, the fear, to increase your confidence.
The diagnosis moment is mostly a traumatic moment. And when you're in trauma, you use your reptile brains, and the door to clear thinking is closed. So when you don't do anything about it, you can't think clear during the whole process, because the trauma of the start wasn't resolved.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say you must feel, you make your own decisions, you have to be self-directed, but it just won't happen when you have trauma from the diagnosis moment.
Mm-hmm. And so it's essential to process that traumatic moment.
Yes, because it's like an island in your brains, the diagnosis moment, without bridges.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't been scientifically proven, but I think that logosynthesis makes bridges, so that the trauma moment has connections with other parts of your brain.
Right.
And when it has connections, bridges to other islands, other parts of your brain, then the excitement, the fear, the distress is released.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And it opens the door, like you were saying, to this hope for the future.
Yes, yes. I heard one of the cancer research team who said in 20 years we say it's a chronic disease.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we have now thoughts from the 1950s that we still think that we will die on cancer, and of course it can be the reason that you can die, but it can also, if you develop on not if you don't develop on the physical part, but you develop on the emotional part and the social part and the spiritual part, you can still feel peace even if your body is sick, because you know there's an essence living in you which is much greater than your body, and that will never disappear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I see that we're coming closer to wrapping up this presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And before we move on, this is, I think, a good time to give people a walkthrough, the project online. Shall I do that?
Well, I'm
The
really
website.
proud of what we did, and I really love to show you what we made the last weeks, months.
Okay, coming right up. So I must say it's beautiful. I'm really proud of our work. So this is the website. The website is called canceropportunities.health, not .com, .health. And here you can find our community. You can find all the resources that are being prepared for you. And I'm going to talk about that as well. So first of all, this is where you can buy the book. So if you're thinking about buying the book is already out in English starting today. So go ahead and buy it. And you can just scroll down and here's a buy button. So you can access it and have it delivered to your door. It's beautiful. It comes with, and I'm going to refer back to the book right now because my memory is poor today. There's a whole section, the first part of the book, which is a diary, which walks you through the experience of the author, of Jannie, and how she was healing through her process. Part 2 is all about resources for your recovery, and it's for people who are going through a cancer diagnosis, but also people who are going through any illness or body struggle, and also for people in crisis. And of course, part 3 of the book is all about examples of how you can use, how you can support yourself and use logosynthesis in different parts of your healing journey. So buy the book, it's available, it's now, so go ahead. The website also offers you access to our movement. We are a movement. We are a group of people, of like-minded spirits who are in the journey of learning, growing, and developing, around the idea that health is healing. And so we're learning about it, we're talking about it, we're we're sharing, and all the resources that we create are always shared in our community. So please go ahead, join this button, and you will find access to all the places where we're present. And that includes, of course, Facebook and YouTube and a Spotify channel. And I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Actually, there are already things present in YouTube. And this is the YouTube channel that Jannie already talked about. It's Cancer Opportunities, a Healing Garden. And here there's different sections. The discovery section is all about learning bits or snippets, little nugget pieces for you to digest different topics related to cancer and healing from intersection of bodies, mind, and spirit. Healing with Logosynthesis is about, examples of how you can use logosynthesis in your healing journey. Stories of power, like Jannie talks about. It's about, well, these first 3 videos is about testimonials of people who have already read the book and talk about it. And in the future, we're also including here stories of people who have gone through cancer and who we have helped in the journey using logosynthesis and other resources, and so that you can learn what's possible in your journey. And resources for your healing, it's about, here we have already 2 videos, one in English and one in Dutch. And this is about, for example, boosting your immune system. There are ways to decrease stress and boost your immune system. And these are beautiful guided meditations that you can listen to before going to sleep or on your way to sleep. So you can just put it on television or your mobile, put the headphones and listen to it, and just fade away in sleep listening to it. It has beautiful music, it's guided, it's really pleasant to listen to. And of course, the same resources are also present in our Spotify channel, both in English and Dutch, for those who want it. So you can listen to it also, not on the television, but maybe on your mobile and comfortably drift away. And on Facebook, we have this group in case you want to join the community and talk and be part of a discussion. So it's called Cancer Opportunities by Jannie Douma Rispens. And it's opening today. You may go ahead and join the group. And of course, you can find it on the website. You don't have to know the numbers. There's a weird number in the address. I don't remember it. So just go to the website and find it in the section called The Movement. Just click there and join the Facebook group. There's also upcoming opportunities. We are having workshops, webinars, programs coming up. So you click here and you can visit the agenda. And in the agenda, you will find all the upcoming opportunities in the coming months. So we have today's presentation. We have a program called Reclaiming Your Power in the Path of Healing, which lasts 6 hours, starting November 2. And there's also Boosting Your Lifestyle. It starts on November 30. And this one is for, I believe, 2 hours, if not mistaken. And of course, if you want to stay updated on all the upcoming opportunities and activities, please subscribe to our newsletter. You can just go ahead here. Oh, it's always at the bottom of every page. You go here, you place your name and address and send it, and you will be receiving the newsletter with all the information, resources, and everything we have available. In case, of course, you do not want to do this by yourself, you can always ask for help, and you can make an appointment to work with any of our guides. And by the guides, I mean Jannie and I, who are guiding people in this journey. So it's us.
And maybe I can tell something more about why I finally decided to make little recordings of myself, because it's not my hobby. And I was thinking of a person who was really sick, laying on their bed. They feel powerless, they feel sad. And isn't it wonderful that it's on social media, it's available. If it's night, if it's day, and you can see stories of power. And you can reclaim your power again. So I think it's very important that even if you have a partner who's really frightened, that you can have this access to this help, this guidance on every time of the day, anytime you need it. So that's why I finally decided to go with the YouTube channel and make recordings of myself, because for myself it's very uncomfortable and I'm really stepping out of my box. But I think it's very important for people that this will be available as a resource of power.
Well said. And yes, I think it's wonderful. People will have access to you through social media to continue learning and growing, and it's creating great opportunities for a lot of people. I'd like to come back to this because it's important that people have a whole walkthrough and find it. And of course, we've already talked about this. If you need help, you're most welcome to join us and ask for help. You can meet your guys, or you can refer to other people who may need us. And of course, we also have a section about logosynthesis, support your healing process with logosynthesis, so that people can also learn what logosynthesis is and access. Before wrapping this part up and coming back to the closing, here's an important message for you. Please consider joining our community. So join the movement and come here to this second button or second section and join our community and be present and participate. If this is not close to your experience, you're not in this place where you need any of this, please consider referring to other people who may need it. It's important that this message reaches as many people and organizations as possible. So if you know of anyone who may benefit from this, or if you know an organization who may also benefit from this knowledge and experience, please let us know so that we can reach them, and so that this message can reach, across borders and frontiers. And feel free to join our social media. We're now present on Facebook and YouTube and Spotify, and most probably possibly in the future on TikTok, because these are important media sources for the message to spread. And thank you. That's a walkthrough on the project online. And we're now coming to the end of it. We promised a 50 to 60 minute presentation. We're 2 minutes away from saying goodbye. So last words, Jannie? Is there something you would like people to take away from the whole presentation?
Well, I'm really proud of the meditation we made last week. And I would recommend it to everyone, because there is now scientific proof that if you meditate every day, that you get less viruses in your body. So it's important for everyone to work on their own healing.
Sure. Thank you. From my side, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an important milestone for the project and for people to access new opportunities for their health and to heal. We're going to be including this recording on our YouTube channel and on the website, so you will be able to share with anyone you think would benefit from it. And I thank each and every one of you for being present today. If any of you would like to say something before we close.
So much for being here today.
Thank you.
Well, I'm impressed. I'm impressed by the work you did, and that you make this available for all the people who suffer of this illness. So I think I hope it's going to help a lot of people around the world. And even if you have to go out of your comfort zone, Jannie, it's only one day.
But they can see it anytime. They can repeat it again and again.
Yeah, they will love you, huh?
I hope so. I hope so, that it will help them on their healing journey.
Yeah.
And there are a few sentences for that as well.
Yes.
This is a reference to logosynthesis, by the way.
If I didn't use them, I wouldn't be here today. Because this is also something out of my comfort zone. So I really have feel the urge of the big mission, and that we can change the energy around cancer together. And that's why I do this. Well,
Then, goodbye, everyone. Thank you for today. I'll stop the
Bye.
recording now.